You think the reason you haven't succeeded yet is because you weren't born with the right talent, that you just didn't win the genetic lottery, that other people are artists, athletes, musicians, geniuses, and you're just average. And that belief is the single poisonous excuse stopping you from building the life you want. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Talent is overrated. Talent creates illusions. Talent opens doors, but only skill keeps them open. Skill, not talent, is what determines who actually wins. Think about it. We all knew someone in school, talented at sports, music, math. They barely tried, but still got results. 10 years later, half of them vanished. That kid who scored effortlessly, working an office job, that singer with a gift, quit music. Meanwhile, tons of untalented grinders rose slowly, steadily, developing mastery. Why? Because talent without discipline is gasoline poured on sand. It burns bright and dies fast. Skill, built deliberately, compounds like stone. It lasts forever. Science proves it. Anders Ericsson, psychologist of deliberate practice, studied elite performers across domains. His conclusion, beyond a certain baseline, talent mattered far less than practice volume, feedback, and persistence. The myth of born genius collapses when you look deeper. Mozart, yes, gifted, but also trained brutally since age 3 by a demanding father, stacking thousands of hours before most children picked their first instrument. Michael Jordan. Cut from his high school team, his gift was obsession with practice. Talent gave sparks. Skill built fires. Here's the psychology. Talent is potential. Skill is conversion. Talent is lottery. Skill is compound interest. Talent excites. But without daily repetition grinding neural pathways, it never harms. That's neuroplasticity. Every rep lays down insulation. Myelin skill is biology. Talent is just possibility. But why do so many worship talent? Because it lets us off the hook. If we believe success equals talent, then failure isn't our fault. We never had it. That's comforting. But it's a lie. The truth is scarier. You are capable, but you must endure years of deliberate repetition. Others won T. That reality hurts. So instead, people cling to born talented as an excuse. Let's bring it back to reality with athletes. Kobe Bryant said, "I wasn't the most talented, but I outworked everyone." The man trained at 4 a.m. daily, hundreds of reps in the dark, while talent slept. Who lasted, Kobe or Cristiano Ronaldo? Not the most innately gifted athlete, but obsessive about diet, training, improvement. He built a machine through skill development that eclipsed natural talents who faded. In music, Beethoven was going deaf while still writing symphonies. Talent advantage, gone. Skill, discipline, frameworks remained. Still historically immortal. In business, Steve Jobs wasn't gifted with the best degree. He was dropped out, curious, obsessive about skill stacking. Design, storytelling, leadership. Talent wasn't mythic. Curiosity and skill building were. So what makes the difference between talent and skill? Habits, reps, systems, feedback. Talent is passive. It's what people notice in you without effort. Skill is active. It's what you force into existence through sweat. Talent runs out once the game gets harder. Skill scales as difficulty rises. Talent plays for attention. Skill plays for legacy. The danger of talent worship shows itself early. When kids get told, "You're so talented," they often develop fixed mindset. Carol Dweck's research proves it. Kids praised for talent avoid hard tasks. They don't want to ruin the illusion. Kids praised for effort embrace challenges because difficulty equals growth. Where are they 10 years later? Talented kids quit when pressure mounts. Effort kids rise. Fixed mindset kills potential. Growth mindset builds endless skill. So here, ask the uncomfortable truth. If you're retelling yourself, "I am not talented enough," good. It means your brain has room for skill, and skill is unlimited. Talent can make a 10-second sprint look magical, but who cares? Life is a marathon. Skill always wins marathons. Now, let me talk about compounding. The power of deliberate practice is it multiplies silently. Do something small, and extra 30 minutes daily compounded across years is thousands of hours that stacks into elite status. The average talented person doesn't sustain. The disciplined average person compounds. Suddenly, they outpace everyone. People call them naturals. They weren't, they were consistent. Talent was misdiagnosed skill, disguised itself as gift. I lived this lesson personally. For years, I envied nuptials, writers who had elegance in one draft, speakers who held rooms. I told myself, maybe I don't have talent. Then, I tested skill, wrote daily, recorded myself, bombed repeatedly. My early work was trash, but each rep rewired me. A year later, people said, "You're talented with words." No, I built 365 skill reps. They confused scars for gifts. That's the uncomfortable truth. They'll label your grind as talent later, erasing the blood behind it. And that's why chasing talent is dangerous, not only because it excuses failure, but because it blinds you to reproducible mechanics of growth. So, how do you flip the script? First, stop asking, "Am I talented?" Ask, "Am I willing to repeat boring improvement 1,000 times until it rewires?" That's the smarter filter. Second, use deliberate practice, not just repetition, feedback, adjustments, iterating weaknesses. Without immediate critique, reps calcify mediocrity. With critique, reps carve world-class skill. Third, embrace boredom as proof of progress. The talented often quit when fun dries up. The skilled thrive when repetition feels mind-numbing, because myelin doesn't care about your excitement. It cares about firing circuits until mastery locks permanent. The best proof is hidden behind countless overnight success stories. Every viral comedian, every breakout athlete, every unicorn founder, when you dig, it's never natural luck. It's 10 years of writing jokes nobody laughed at, 8 years in leagues nobody watched, 12 failed startups. But social media sells myth of talent. The reality, they built invisible skill long before you noticed. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Talent gives you a head start. But head starts don't decide the race. Skill sustained decides everything. The world crowns not the most talented, but the most skilled. Talent fades if left untouched. Skill compounds endlessly. That's why your real power, ISNT. What you reborn with it. S, what you build. Your hands, your brain, your hours of practice. You don't need to discover secret talent. You need discipline plus feedback plus time. So the next time you look at someone winning and instinctively sigh, they're just talented. Stop, ask instead, how many hidden reps did they accumulate while I was scrolling? Because that's always the truth. Behind their talent are scars you'll never see. And the next time you tell yourself you're not talented enough, remind yourself it doesn't matter. Skill doesn't ask permission. Skill doesn't ask about genetics. Skill just compounds. So kill the myth. Free yourself. Talent is not the golden ticket. Skill is. Build skills so rare they can't ignore you. Stack discipline until people call it talent. And keep building until you no longer care if anyone calls it anything at all, because by then, results will scream louder than labels. That's the uncomfortable truth about talent versus skill. Stop envying gifts. Start compounding grind. Because one will fade, but the other will build a life you can't even imagine yet.